Welcome to The Authored Life. This is Matt and Megan, and we are so excited to continue the topic of freedom with you. Like we mentioned in our video last week, the months of January and February are going to be entirely devoted to the topic of freedom. So part of the journey of freedom is being aware of the financial reality around us. I think a lot of times we get stuck into this rut in a routine, and we have this desire in our heart for more, but we never really come up for air to look at the financial reality. I think a lot of us decide to rationalize our financial situation and just accept the way things are. So let's look at some of the facts and perhaps why you're feeling this way and why this is a really typical habit of ours.
Definitely. Today we're going to discuss today's financial reality, the current reality of things. And there's so much confusion and complication around the economy today. I feel like years ago, things were so much more simple. You had an income, you knew what lifestyle provide, and that was kind of it, done. Mm-hmm. However, wouldn't you agree that things don't feel as straightforward anymore? In guiding people, we've had to be very in tune with today's financial statistics and trends. When we were diving deep into finances based on historic trends and really why things feel so different, I found, honestly, when we were doing this, we found neurophysiology to be much easier to understand than this. It was crazy. So what the heck is going on? Pew Research Center says that 55% of people, Americans, feel like they're falling behind. 40% of Americans feel like they're stuck, they're just not getting ahead, and only 5% feel like they're actually getting ahead. So I want to make sure you heard that. Only 5% feel like they're getting ahead. Everyone else feels like they're stuck or falling behind. Even those at the top of the income ladder, so making $100,000 a year or more, feel like they're not getting ahead, they're experiencing financial issues. So no one's immune to this. So if you're feeling the way you're feeling, it's okay, you're not alone. So the main question is this: are we making more money than we were before? All right? And that depends. The statistics say yes, but they also say if you remove the upper 10% of income earners in the United States and factor in inflation, all right, the U.S. Census Bureau says average incomes have actually stagnated for years. They've been stagnant. The current median income is just over $51,000 a year. And this is roughly where it was after the 1995 inflation, after you factor that in, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So yes, we're making more, but according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the dollar is not getting us as far as it should. So we see these stats on the economy's turning around and people are making so much more money. Well, if you take away the upper 10%, factor in inflation, that's why people are feeling stuck despite making more money. Yeah. So Megan, why is this change? What's going on?
So to answer this question, we are not going to get into politics. We are not going to get into the housing bubbles, tax systems, and minimum wage debates here. Not the place. So instead, we're just going to be talking about some basic shifts in supply and demand and the employment model. So what are these shifts? It's the convergence of really four things. So less people are now leaving the workforce due to the inability of them to retire, and more people are entering the workforce. So you add those two things with globalization and technology. So we know that globalization has caused production to move overseas, and technology has replaced humans in areas such as manufacturing, clerical, and administrative tasks, which is causing job erosion in those areas. So looking at the combination of those four shifts, you are now competing for jobs on four fronts. So with people on the other side of the world, with computers, with a high number of people entering the workforce, and with a low number of people leaving the workforce. So it's obvious that things are drastically changing. So what are you going to do about it? If you're like us and you want to not just survive but thrive in life despite these changing times, it's going to require a complete shift in mindset. Now we're going to be covering that next week, and we are so excited about it.
So we're going to be covering that next week, but Megan, it's Sunday, time to help people set themselves up for a successful week ahead. Again, we're going to talk about the mindset next week, but talk about today's financial reality. What are some things people could do to set themselves up for a successful week ahead on the financial journey of freedom?
So I think a great actionable step that you can take today is asking yourself one question. It's not a fun question. I don't think you're gonna like it. I don't think you're gonna be excited about it, but bear with us, it's totally necessary. So ask yourself, what is your current financial reality in terms of what we talked about today? Now, we covered everything very, very briefly, but we gave you enough information for you to answer this question in a pretty complete way. So we know that it's not fun to take an honest assessment of where we are at in terms of our finances. It's almost like it's become a taboo topic. And we know that the feelings that this honest assessment evokes is even less fun. But while it is easier to hide under a rock and pretend that everything is okay, asking yourself this is a necessary step in order to start moving in the right direction towards the freedom that you really desire and the freedom that you absolutely deserve. You need to know where you truly are in order to start moving in the right direction.
I love that. You got to know where you're at to get to move forward. And you got to be honest with yourself about it. So I think that was great. So again, if you have any questions or just want to say hi, please private message us on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. That's the end of this week's talk. Thank you so much for joining us at The Author Life. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.